Yeah. I'm trying to keep that in some emergency vehicle. Almost doing this now. It's like, oh, guys. And they turned out like 7
Too bad. Oh, shit.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Well, there you go. Hey, I love you. Please.
Oh, hello. Oh, Frank and Frick. Frank was first.
Sure. Well, it's nice to see you. Jealousy is not what
Okay.
when he worked this past week.
20 years.
We called him Mo.
He's not that old. No, he's close to it, because he was right behind my. So he's 738. He started 17 because he was young.
All right, let's call the Blanco County Commissioners Court to order this Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. Ask Ms. Wall to call the roll.
Judge Brady,
Here.
Commissioner Weir,
Here.
Commissioner Eager,
Here.
Commissioner Lisa, Commissioner Grantham.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation. God of peace, we invite you to preside over this meeting. Even if we have different opinions, give us unity of spirit. Help each of us to listen politely as others share their points of view. Help us to work as a unified team in combining ideas for a great outcome. Help us to work as a whole rather than as individuals trying to promote their own agendas. May we have a spirit of camaraderie in this room and work together on our shared mission. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Item 4, public comment, Ms. Deanne Welch.
Right, Deanne Welch of Blanford County, I wish to speak on agenda item 21. I'm generally for agenda item 21 because I support anyone and everyone's effort to comply with the state election code. I have much to discuss regarding agenda item 21, but my past experience has informed me that you will not consider my commentary respectfully, and therefore it is best that I take my ideas directly to the electorate of Blanco County and to higher authorities. In previous court meetings, I tried to report to you that lies have been told about events surrounding agenda item 21, with the result of confusing or deceiving the people of Blanco County. Your response was a false accusation and threats of punishment against me. The English language includes the infinitive to lie, which, when taking verbal forms, renders the English words lied and lying. These verbs depict activity. However, when the infinitive takes the form of a noun, liar, the depiction is denigrated to a person. I have never stood at this podium and called anyone a liar, ever. And if you cannot distinguish between nouns and verbs with a realization that they are not equivalent, then I recommend that you return to grammar school.
Commissioners, a couple of things. I'm curious if you all get these on occasion because they seem kind of rare and I think they're interesting. Commissioner Eager got a note of thanks just out of the blue saying thank you for the work on the driveway. It is super nice and has made a big difference. A couple of constituents. Congrats on working on this. Just thought that was interesting. Do you all get these?
No.
got this last night. I am writing, to reach out in order to express my gratitude for the actions of the firefighters and other emergency responders from Blanco County and beyond for their hard work and quick response during the wildfire incident off FM 1623 and Clear Creek Road on Sunday afternoon. From the initial 911 call to the final mop-up stage, it was a blessing to know that so many people were working hard to prevent this incident from becoming a disaster. Early in the incident, Blanco Fire Chief McMahon made contact with us on our property at 384 Clear Creek Road, and we were able to establish an access point for fire crews in order to defend our neighborhood, as well as to attack the wildfire on the neighboring ranch. Chief McMahon made it a point to assign an apparatus for exposure protection, while at the same time positioning brush trucks in preparation for fire attack as it encroached on our property. In addition to the Blanco fire units, it was encouraging to see so many other units from near and far providing assistance. I was able to interact with some of the strike teams and continue to be amazed at the self-sacrifice of our brothers in the fire service. This multi-unit response also speaks to the forward thinking and planning of our leaders at the county level, who take the responsibility of emergency planning and preparedness seriously. To restate the point, each and every contact and interaction with the responding personnel throughout the incident was thoroughly professional and courteous. I have been in the fire service now for almost 12 years, and I could not have asked for better people to be responding to my home during an emergency. Thank you. Chris Mulvaney, Fire Engineer, San Marcos Fire Department. Having seen the event, I thought it was interesting. I'm not sure if his was the house that Chief McMahon was talking about, that had the helicopter not been there.
It was his house. It was his house.
So had that helicopter not been there, according to Chief McMahon, it was a iffy proposition, as that house would still be there.
That is correct.
Of course, you were there. And let me see, Chief McMahon, you were the incident commander, and then Ben was the
Air Ops. And PIO, if everybody's seen him on TV, so PIO that day.
Did you notice, there's something odd that I wanted to ask you about, maybe I should be asking you at your precinct. Did you notice, so that fire was on 1623, right? After Rose Edge and moved northwards. Roughly. So far, so good.
Yes, sir.
And they consumed some acreage and went past the houses and such. So I was noticing, and I guess it stretched along 1623 for several hundred yards or further. That sound right? And as it moved north, it went straight across the Kinder Morgan pipeline. Anything?
No, we did notify Kinder Morgan, told them we had a fire in the area. The pipeline was in good shape. It was not, previously, the previous fire, there was 3 pipelines in that area. And those pipelines are pretty much above ground and with just dirt mounds over them. In the previous fire, we had dozers, so that was a big concern. So they actually were out there monitoring the pipelines themselves. Never crossed the creek to even get to the pipeline, but they were there monitoring and made contact with us. So,
But let's back up a minute. So on this pipeline, which is brand new, it burned the grass and brush and went across it, just getting on.
Correct.
And
The pipeline actually created on the fire break because previously they dug all that out to the pipe, so that area was completely unburned.
And in your experience with other pipelines that are much older and have above ground valves, you've had fires go through and go past them without any
incidents, yes.
Okay.
But I would like to take this time to thank all the fire see more and more of each other right now. And I thank y'all for y'all's time in those stations and working together, along with the sheriff's office. I seen Don and Neil out on the big fire on 1320, so, doing their job.
6 fires on Sunday, right, or more?
On Sunday, there was 3 out there, and there was one in our outlet.
There it was.
4.
All right, moving to item 5, of the minutes from the previous meeting for your review.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Granberg, discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 6, line item transfers, there are 2 for your consideration. One, for precinct 3 and one for the sheriff's office.
I'd like to make a motion ratifying and approving the line item transfers as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Eager, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 7, the outstanding bills.
Make a motion to approve the outstanding.
I got the PEC bill yesterday. I'd like to add it because it's due April 1st. And it's in the amount of $5,295.88.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the outstanding bills in the amount of $153,810.58 and include the PEC bill in the amount of $5,295.88.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Axenberg, I'm gonna go with Granberg, he was good. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, is for your consideration to acknowledge the proclamation for, an upcoming week, April 10th through 16th. That's going to be Telecommunicators Week. And this is particularly near to me because those dispatch people are pretty amazing and they don't get a whole lot of recognition. And so, and during this week, I think various people try to bring them snacks and things to show appreciation. And this is something that the Commissioners Court can do to formally recognize.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the proclamation regarding the National Public Safety Telecommunication Week, April 10th through 16th, 2022, honoring all the unsung heroes who answer our urgent calls and effectively activate help for everything from lost dogs to life-saving measures.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Peter, discussion.
I would like to also thank, I just thank the fire department, EMS, I would like to thank the telecommunicators, being in that room during tragic events, it is very intense for the new people and for everybody in that room. And we've worked really hard to get in the right technology, and our ladies and gentlemen do an outstanding job, and I would like to thank them.
Well, they don't have to be in that room. You don't have to be in that room to know it. You can be in your truck, sitting in a gate, needing a gate code to investigate a errant drone that grounded our airline.
It's true. That is true.
It's kind of being high under the collar at the time.
A little bit.
All right. Motion and second, further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next one is a proclamation. Is someone going to speak on this? Anybody? Kim Winkler? Yeah, come on up. Is a proposal to Michael County to proclaim Child Abuse Prevention Month for the month of April. Ms. Winkler is as she met with y'all before, she's the relatively new executive director of the Broken for Child,
Children's Advocacy Center, it's a mouthful, yes. Well, and of course, April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and we will be back, and we'll be putting some signage out in the courthouse and some
Pinwheels too, represent children that we represent. I think our number for 2021 was 422 children and student services that we did with the advocacy center. So we're just trying to acknowledge that and bring awareness. I think last time I spoke, Erica was actually right on the street presenting in Blankville, wasn't she, doing education now and awareness to children in our schools and again, just trying to get the word out, making people aware of what goes on in our community and what we do to help.
So you have with you today, Erica.
Erica Melton, she's our outreach and education coordinator. Again, she goes to schools, she teaches educators kind of how to recognize and move forward. Lots of different areas, and we have Sophie May, who's our NPT coordinator, which is our multidisciplinary team, so she works with your local law enforcement, CPS, educators too, prosecutors, so this is kind of our.
Can you repeat that name?
Sophie May, M-A-Y.
So it seems like in some years, there's like a bunch of big bows and ribbons on trees and things, and some years it's a little sparser coated seated.
You can wait on it, and of course, like I said, I'm relatively new, I know even in the past, they've done balloon releases and things like that. Some people are fans, some people aren't. But I think the pinwheels seem to be what a lot of the state caps are doing. That is a symbol, that we use, and it's a good representation of how many children, in our area that we know of, that we need service. Just to get a visual of how many children in our communities.
Well, assuming the commissioners approve this proclamation, I think you'll be welcome to mix it up all you want. Commissioners, questions?
I make a motion to approve the proclamation declaring April 22nd, April 2022 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Blount County.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Randall, again. Discussion, that's good.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10. We've been having some minor difficulties, but just keeping blood draw kits in inventory. It's kind of a question of pink finger pointing. Well, you ordered, and you ordered, and it's just kind of gotten a little bit messy. So Chief Oakley has obtained some for us from source and wanted to reimburse ESD for that. I can't remember.
I'll make a motion to authorize to reimburse Chief Oakley and ESD for the purchase of 30 blood draw kits in the amount of $195.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Eager, discussion. For discussion, I want to kind of prepare you that there will probably be another 70 ordered down the line for the year. So about
Depending on expiration dates, possibly. I project probably total for a year would be around 50, depending on how the dates fall.
So we may have another 20.
Correct.
What's the life of one of these kids?
So it varies greatly because it depends on the blood tubes in it, and so it depends on what lot they get. We usually get about, what would you say, 6 to 9 months out of them. These that came in, I know expired 2023 sometimes, so they just changed manufacturers, so hopefully they'll get better life. But we usually end up dealing with more expirations and usages because of the dates on them, so.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11 involves engaging activities to replace exterior lights on the north annex. I think it's ready. From Bill Electric. We tried to get one of these, and a company that we have used in the past out of Fredericksburg declined to, well, actually, they listened to it, I think, and then they withdrew it, but they're just too busy and don't really want to come to Johnson City right now. So, if you have any thoughts or questions? Or motions?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the action to engage an electrician to remove and replace the exterior lights of the building.
Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Gramber, discussion.
So is this, something our maintenance guy can't do? He's behind you.
No, it's actually a ballast bypass and an LED upgrade. It's not changing out the fixture itself. It's a ballast bypass.
Right. So it's pretty much removing two wires and moving them to a different spot, and then screwing a light bulb in. Can't do that?
I'm a licensed electrician. I've never done that.
So the second part of that discussion is the,
Wait, can we get off on the second part? Didn't you once educate me that there's even some LED bulbs that you don't have to remove the ballast?
there is.
Okay. I'm just saying, you just got to buy them, right, special?
Correct. It's not even special or most supplies that have them on stock. So the second part of that is with the consideration of the night sky, do you know what the Kelvin is on the proposal that you're putting in here?
I'd have to look, Chris, we did this back in November and did it several times. We did it equal to LED. Speaking back on the ballast, which you can do that kind of bulb, if you're gonna go and actually change these out, removing one piece of an equation that could cause future problems, was the fourth out. So yeah, you can go and do a direct bulb in there to do that. That bulb usually has depends upon which manufacturer, 5 or a 10-year warranty with it. The ballast does not. So if the ballast does go out, we recommend doing this. Go to a direct line voltage bulb LED. On the Kelvin, we can match what it is. Of course, we need to get into them and make them all the same type, but we can match what was existing there for the output unless there was a recommendation to go to a different section.
So the setting would be 3,000 or less. So either 2,700 or 3,000
Okay.
in order to meet our night sky requirements and rules. So I know that these lights aren't really shielded, but at least the Kelvin will give us a lower light, and that would keep some people happy.
Sure.
Would you be nesting the door?
I am, yes, sir.
Not your fault, don't take this as criticism, it was my fault. Sometimes, people like two chiefs over there stand up and say something from the gallery, and I get in trouble, later because they don't, it doesn't show up if you're not at the microphone, so.
Yes, sir.
I may be asking people to come forward a little better next time. So.
Yes, sir.
So obviously there's 3 options to this quote. So whenever you made the motion, we needed to determine which option you prefer.
Commissioner Weir. Is this your motion?
Yes, I made the motion.
Actually-
Chris, I'd like your input on that.
Let me ask the electrician, the 28 fixtures, is that inclusive to all the external light fixtures that are on the building? Or is that including the pole lights as well?
Does not include the pole lights, no, sir. It is the exterior wall packs and the underhand lights.
Have you seen the pole lights?
I have.
Have you noticed whether they come on or not?
I have noticed that they do come on in the last line item. They do come on at times, at various times. In the last line item, we were asked to price, making sure that we could reset all those where they all come on at the same time. That is an allowance in there for labor. They are ran by 2 separate time clocks. Whether those contactors are bad, whether the time clocks are bad, is one of those scenarios that you don't know until you actually dive into that issue to see. So it could be, and hoping that it could be something that's resetting some time clocks, changing out a contactor until you dive into it.
This microphone on.
Is that part of this bid is to go in and inspect all that?
For the labor on, yes, sir, if we come up, upon some faulty component or something that we need adjustment, then we would submit an additional proposal to say, okay, guys, here's the situation. This is causing your problem, or this is what we recommend to change to actually have a system that may or may not have any adjustments that you would have to make in order to keep them all coming on at the same time.
So but that's a specific option, so you have to choose option 2 in that scenario. Otherwise, he's just going to change the boards and all the fixtures outside.
Well,
So, I mean, it's just 2 time clocks.
right.
So, I mean, adjusting the times is something.
But, respectfully,
Yes, sir.
certain people around here adjust the time clocks for the sprinklers, and they're not, sprinkler experts. Does it take an electrician to adjust the time clock?
No, it does not.
Okay. What do you think our problem is?
I'm assuming, I don't know the age of those time clocks, I didn't look into it, as I expressed in the past, when turning in proposals. I can only go so far into a proposal without actually paying electricians to go diagnose their problem. So could it be a simple time clock? Absolutely. Could it be a contactor that's burned out, which that time clock is controlling? Yes, sir.
So which option gives us a diagnosis?
The third option. And if it is something simple, we will take care of it regardless, because additional money spent on another trip is not worth it for the county, nor is it worth it for me.
I see option 1 and 2, what's 3?
There should be another sheet of paper, Judge.
It's the money.
Yes, sir.
So it'd be option 1 and option 3 would be the recommendation.
Well, there's 3 options if you wanted to do all the lights, just the canopy lights, I believe. And then if you wanted us to diagnose issues with the control system.
Okay, we're in discussion, right?
We are in discussion.
Well, I don't know about, what the right price is, or the right contractors or whatever, so when I look at the options, I think that it's silly to just do the walkway. We're gonna do it. We should.
Oh, I agree.
We should fix all this straight.
I agree, that will need to be fixed.
So is the 28 fixtures, is that option 3?
It's option 1.
It's option 1, and then 3 is the diagnosis of what's going on with the clocks.
So with my motion, I would say option 1. Is that what you're? I mean, you're an electrician.
Well, considering the lights, the sheriff's office stay on all the time, so I might as well go ahead and throw option 3 in there too, not ours. So obviously it's above their head.
So in discussion, we're recommending your motion, the options 1 and 3. Is that,
Speak both.
is that amenable?
Yes, that's, I don't
Any
think.
further motion?
Okay, my motion is to take option 1 and 3.
Any your second? Second. All right, further discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 12 is the property insurance renewal questionnaire that needs to be signed off on. On this, Swift, and need your approval.
I'll make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign the 2022 property insurance renewal questionnaire from the Texas Association of Counties.
Is there a second? Now, second. Commissioner Eager, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13. This is a no-cost contract that we would like to enter into with Axon so that the county attorneys have access to the Axon.
I'll make a motion to authorize the county judge to enter into a no-cost contract with Axon in order for the county attorney to access body camera video.
Is there a second? Commissioner Rea, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, this is a federal procurement grant policy is necessary for us to be, like a county federal procurement policy necessary for us to be eligible for certain grants, and Mr. Baker has been working on this, and we'll answer any questions that you have.
I consider approval of Lincoln County federal grant procurement policy.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Reader, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15 is a companion to 14. There needs to be a Blanco County statement of financial goals and policies in order for us to qualify for the federal grant program.
Make a motion to approve the Clayton County Statement of Financial Goals and Policies.
Is there a second?
Second.
And Commissioner Bradford, discussion. So this is, I guess, the initial one, is we thought we had one in place, and okay, if this could change at any point, if the commissioner chooses to bring it up again. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 16, regarding specs and purchase, and the purchase of 3 Axon vehicle cameras for 3 vehicles.
I'd like to make a motion approving of the specs and the purchase of 3 Axon vehicle cameras to be outfitted in 3 new vehicles for the Blanco County Sheriff's Office.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Bradford, discussion.
It is within this year's budget, right?
Yes. Further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Specs and purchase of 2 Ford Explorers. This has been brought to you out of desperation because Dodge basically canceled our orders for the 2 Durangos. And matter of fact, Dodge canceled pretty much the whole state's orders. UPS and everybody else. Because they make no money selling public units, regular units, public scale units. So we had to convert over to Ford Explorers, and that's what this is for. And it's the approval for the specs and purchase, which, by the way, we actually got a little less, paid a little less than what we budgeted for the Durango.
Yes, sir.
Slightly.
I'll make a motion to approve the specs and purchase of 2 Ford Explorers for Clayton County Sheriff's Office as outlined on the capital equipment portion of the 2021-2022 budget.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Beaver, discussion. I know Commissioner Judge Broderick will be very happy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 18 requires consideration to purchase a new weapon.
Please explain.
That's a huge quote.
For the audience, because I see.
The Muffin Monster is a brand name. It's like saying Bobcat or Skillet. The Muffin Monster is a really big grinder that grinds up refuse that comes out of the toilets in the jail.
A sub pump or a grinder pump?
No, it's not something.
Grinder.
It's a giant grinder. And I'm gonna be like 50 something horsepower.
It's 5 horsepower, but
Oh,
it's
excuse me.
huge.
Takes a crane to pull it out. It's a big thing, and it has lasted 12 years, and we refurbished it and it go a little longer, but taking it in and out is a task in and of itself, and that's a service call. So it's better to replace it at this point after this many years.
And is this price inclusive of replacement?
Yes.
Yes.
And we have this money in,
Yes, it's in the
so I make a motion to authorize the sheriff's office to purchase the replacement Muffin Monster.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Beaver?
Yes.
Discussion. The discussion that I gave, here's something I want to mention, and that is the Muffin Monster had a bout about 3 or 4 years ago, where the inmates decided that flushing their orange jumpsuits down the toilet would be a good idea. I think the goal was to close the jail so that they could get transferred out, which was really silly because where they would go would not be a upgrade. But anyway, and when they pulled the Muffin Monster, the grinder's parts looked like a giant orange mop. And it was, since then, the sheriff has put in place a lot of procedures that stop that. We haven't had any orange jumpsuits or anything really. Give the Muffin Monster problems. It's just getting old. All right, that's it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. 19 is the racial profiling report for the sheriff's office. Did you say anything?
No, it was accepted. About the same as last year.
It was accepted by like Cleveland.
I make a motion acknowledging the 2021 racial profiling report by the Blanford County Sheriff's Office.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Brandon, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 20. I think I put this on here and it's just to advise you that I don't seem to have the exact wording, but basically we want an award again from the League of Women Voters as being one of the counties that has a good elections website, right?
Correct.
And it's from the League of Women Voters.
Correct.
So you won it last year, I think, or year before, whichever the cycle is. But I wanted the court to be aware that the county's website was considered exemplary by the League of Women Voters. And not every site is. Travis County's wasn't. I thought that was interesting. You would think that the state government would have a website that would qualify, but it did not. Anyway, that's for your information. I think there's action to take. Just wanted to be aware. Which takes us to item 21, and probably does require Ms. Speaks to come up. Regarding existing election precincts. So I think we have a lot to say.
It just has to come before you. It's part of our countywide application that you review it to make sure we're still in compliance.
Okay, so when you say it has to come before you, so this is the, there's auditors, commissioners, courts are supposed to look at election precincts to make sure they're in compliance. And there's the commissioners, courts, which this is 22, when they can do it, the same thing. And they're supposed to do it in March, April time, right?
Correct.
And so that's why it's before us, but in connection with this, we don't have another agenda item that's due is talking about the countywide, or do we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in connection with this, I wanted to ask a couple of questions about countywide. Because it kind of relates. Some of the things that the application, where are we in that application process? Beginning?
Still working working on it.
the beginning.
Yeah.
And there's some things that we have to do to get ready for it. You have to detail our voting system, which is the ESNS system. I got confronted by a constituent yesterday that is concerned that our DS200s, that some DS200s have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth and some do not. And of course, the concern was hacking. And I'm under the impression that our DS200s do not have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
That is correct.
So to program them for your ballot, for the ballot for Trumbull County, or ballot is for the county. Somebody from the ESNS comes, somebody from the ESNS sends you a.
Correct. So what we did is right now, ESNS has changed the way we do it. I have to go in and I have to basically build the election portal online. All the steps to building it, I have to
When you
finish
say
it.
build an election, you have to put Tommy Rear and whoever else is running, and precinct one, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
For local elections, yes.
Okay.
For statewide, no. For Secretary of State. Once all that is complete, then they send me the which is just a flash drive. And it goes into all the equipment, which is how the equipment is programmed in to read ballots. that they produce.
And then they send it to you how?
Yes, usually.
And is it a memory stick
Yeah, it's a flash drive.
that you plug into the DS200 program?
And the express codes, it all has the same kind of meaning.
Right.
Mhm.
Would you agree with me when I try to simplify that really that express code, people worry about it, really all it is an electronic pencil? I mean, all it does is really make perfect little circle square. We sometimes don't.
Sure.
The second thing is the computerized voter registration. That's your poll books, and that's all running smooth. And then there's supposed to be a public hearing again for our application for countywide polling. When are we doing that? All right, so we've had a public hearing. And it says that we need to explain the methodology for selecting countywide polling location. Our methodology is are we going to have countywide polling at every location that we currently have election precincts?
Sure.
And the communication plan for how we're getting the word out about countywide polling, I suppose we're putting it on your website.
Correct.
The county's main website.
Correct.
Probably, you have a Facebook for your officials? Probably put it on that,
And they can run it a couple times a week.
and we'll get it in the newspaper. Joint election issues, it says that the Secretary of State is going to want joint election issues resolved. And joint election issues, I guess, are with cities, ESDs, schools. Do we have any issues?
No, as long as I'm not an elections administrator, I'm not from.
Right.
Now, we do have to use our polling locations, which we have one in each precinct, so.
I'm good, I'm just jumping ahead, but we have two in precinct 2 right now, right?
Polling locations?
Potentially.
No. 2 in precinct 3.
I know that.
Only
And
one
we have
of
the Catholic Church that we haven't used recently, but we used it a lot. But we stretched precinct 2 down far enough that we could have a second polling location in precinct 2, but we don't right now. We'll get back to that. This one's a strange one. It says, a demonstration, I'm not sure what that means. That the commissioners court and the county chairs, I don't see either Ms. Lewis or Mr. Casperas here, have resolved new polling place officials, have resolved how polling place officials will be appointed. What does that mean?
Well, at this point in time, they have to be registered, a precinct. County records have to be registered.
You get closer to the mic.
I'm sorry.
This is not about officials. I assume this means like
President, judges.
judges and alternate judges and such.
Correct.
How are we gonna demonstrate that we've resolved within how that works? I mean, I didn't know I didn't have to resolve it. Oh, it's fine.
In the last application we put together, I didn't have to write a book, but I think we just put a statement that there was no issue to resolve.
So we're gonna have a statement, you're gonna have to have a statement that says that the commissioner's court has reviewed the election precinct boundaries in March or April of 2021, which we did, right? Okay, Ms. Ashley shaking her head, yes. And that it complies with the various sections of the code that talk about so much population in each precinct, that the precincts don't bleed over into other boundaries that we shouldn't, like they all contain one state variable, one city, all that kind of stuff. And that brings me to a discussion I may want to lure Commissioner Wicker into, maybe Commissioner Easter. I have not heard anything good from what we did in the redistricting with precinct 2. And I wonder, and I have a couple of questions that maybe you can help us with. Because the way the lines look, what are those two roads out there? Is it McKinney, what roads are they? Cottonwood and McKinney. The map looks to me like people on the more northern side of the road are in precinct 2, and the people on the more southern side of the road, or call it southwest to the that depending on which side of which road, you would be in precinct 1 or precinct 2. But it appears that all of the people along that road are in precinct 2.
I'm hearing it a few at a time, because they were, when they went to vote, they could see that Commissioner Eager was on the ballot. They didn't know that. They thought we were on the side. I should have known that he was. So when they saw that, I didn't let them know that they were in the other precinct. So they called me. I thought, from when we looked at the maps very closely when we were doing this, it was still hard the way the color charts were laid over. I've got people that have notified me on both sides of the road. So what's happened, if this is correct, that I have a road that I maintain in this precinct.
That's okay.
And then the other piece of this, and there's two parts that I may have pushed through, and that wasn't my intention, so don't hide feeling this, because this is just a discussion. It's not a criticism, nor is it certainly not you anyway, nor is it a attempt to disparage anybody, not even the process. But between that issue, I'm not too worried about the rest of it all seems to have shaken out okay. It's pretty complicated to do his precinct in western Johnson City, but it shook out okay. But I'm concerned about that he has a road that appears to be in another precinct. And I'm also concerned about that, we kind of got rushed into that dipping of blocks down into Blanco. And we did it, I think, for my memory is we did it for reasons of making sure there were polling places so people in Waco didn't have to go to Johnson City to the Catholic Church to vote if they were in precinct 2. But it doesn't seem to have been it doesn't seem to have been a good idea. We didn't pick up any populations in those blocks to speak of on mine. And I'm wondering if, and I don't see any reason why the Commissioner's Court can't revise it, honestly, based on the statutes. So, because it would still comply with various categories, populations. I mean, we don't have Mr. Lawyer. Right. We don't have him here picking up this, and he was a stickler about census tracts and populations, and I can't believe that those few blocks that drop down to 11th Street, whatever street it is, and like they took those back out and made more of a level, and made precinct 2 that would really affect the population balance. So.
So are you looking at just voting, changing the voting precincts, or the whole precinct in general?
Well, if we change, I guess the whole precinct in general. But, so why does that make a difference for you?
It doesn't right now, we just follow the commission ordinance for voting purposes, so that's why it's asking.
Well, I wouldn't want to change one, not the other. I wouldn't think. I mean, I'm just talking to me, and I don't even know what they might think about this.
So,
I wasn't here when all that happened that day, I was at conference, so.
but if we did not get countywide voting, and our goal would be to add another voting location in the town of Blanco for precinct 2 constituents, that's why we did that.
Yes.
So,
Well, let me ask you this, how many constituents are you talking about adding another precinct from precinct 2, because you're involving equipment? Whatever it takes in one
We
location.
don't know, but it would be, I think Doug Taylor and his comment, we were thinking about the people in Brushy Top and across the road where there's wet landing.
yeah, everything on Cottonwood, everything on,
Yes.
Judge, there was a percentile we had to stay, you know,
Right.
on plus. And if I remember right, once the dust settled, what we did, we were still very safely within that percentile. You could do some adjustments if
Yes.
it's possible.
That's
Still stay within the
I wouldn't
state.
brought it up if we couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think we could do it. So.
Right. Now, what I'm talking about is really not trying to gain back any constituents. I just don't, he's got all of Rocky Road. Now, at least again, another 6 miles of road. If this is what he let notify me, if it's correct, he's gonna get another 6 miles of road on top of Rocky Road.
And we brought that up and started looking at something. Do you know if there's something that's being missed? Because these people, they went to vote, and that's how they found out they were in precinct 2.
Yeah, they were in the city, but they lived in town. In Waco.
I mean, I just pulled up the map from the first district that we overlaid the voting precincts on. We have nothing.
And the problem is, I'm not blaming anybody for it, it's just when they shadowed the road, we didn't know if kids would come up to the road, the precinct, who keeps the road, the person had it, or did he go across and take in both sides, both addresses up and down the road? Rocky J did it.
Discuss when we did redistricting, who was going to maintain the road.
Well, sure, we talked about it, and then when it came out, it was a little bit different.
I was under the impression that I would pick it up to McKinney Loop, everything on the other side would be in precinct 1. But you had precinct 1 voters across the road that was had precinct 2.
Here's the thing, yes, you were right, we had a long discussion, and there was a lot of trade, and who's gonna take care of what. But it always involved a road that split precincts. Whereas now, McKinney Loop and Cottonwood don't seem to split the precinct because people on the other side, on both sides of the road, are considered precinct 2. So I guess maybe the question is, can we look at and I don't know if this is what you all are interested in, but could we look at making sure that Cottonwood and Kaylee demarcate the two precincts so that people on one side are in precinct 1, people on the other side are in precinct 2, so that it at least makes logical sense that he keeps maintenance of, that Commissioner Ware keeps maintenance of those two streets, roads.
Christian, I was hoping once, you got through the election and all of that, but I was hoping I could get a list at some point in time, of the people that live along those roads, and we can see what it is. And then we can see, okay, is it taking in the whole road or what? And I just need the information and we go from there.
Okay.
See where we're at. It's not blaming anybody at all, because we did talk about this.
Do you think that's something we could fix over time?
I think it's so.
Because he's gonna end up with quite a bit more road, and I'm gonna lose another 6 months.
Commissioner Bantler and I have the same thing on Hall Creek. He comes in and takes the road on west of it, take people on the west side of it.
Yes, but you didn't take people on the east side of it, that's what I'm
That's what Tommy and I are trying to.
And I can get you some names of people that contacted me, so that we can kind of see what we're talking about. And see, because I have it from both sides of the cost.
We can run a street list that will tell you,
Okay.
because that's how we split out and we did our districting, which this is what took us the longest, was splitting out these crazy streets, Rocky Road being one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Don't say that with Tommy, she might hurt you, but, this little section right here was a nightmare.
Oh, I can only imagine.
So-
When you're in the city and you're trying to turn which side of the street, you'll have some of that too, right?
Is it fair to say that we are asking to take another look at that you want to adjust that?
Well, we need that answer. I mean, because we need to answer it so that we know how to budget, how to do our, how to determine how much roads we got, and what we need to do.
Okay, that's a different question. I thought we wanted to keep the roads in the precincts that they're, I got an impression from the two of you that you want to keep the roads in the precincts that they're.
Exactly. That's
Which
exactly.
means that we need to ask her to find out who on your, what would be your side of the road is in the wrong precinct.
And I can help any way I can to show you, where we're talking about from point to point. And then again, there's, inside of Rocking J is another example where, it's a mess. It's a mess, I know.
And that was one of those things I asked you not to do, was to split it.
I remember you were very adamant about that.
It has created a large nightmare.
But the census blocks, the way they presented them, there was no alternative besides to get the amount of people, so that was the only way we could do it.
Because of the voting blocks.
But does Commissioner Sport have any authority to look outside of those blocks and not necessarily adopt them in a whole?
You do. That wasn't real clear, but I believe that you do. You still have to stay within federal voting rights guidelines.
And within the percentile.
And it's hard, it made it easier. I guess maybe it was hard for their programs, they are contracted to deal with this. But that's the thing about computers and programs, they don't live on Cottonwood. And they don't know, the TxDOT computer doesn't live in Round Mountain, it doesn't realize the terminal needs to be right there at the gas station.
I think folks will settle in wherever they vote, they'll settle in, and where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? That's my question. Not just necessarily, that I lose this person or that person. Do I have the road or just leave?
So again, I think if you can help us to identify along those two roads, if they, in fact, it bleeds over, if precinct 2 bleeds over the road, we want to look at the idea of drawing it back to stay on just one side of Cottonwood and one side of,
The density factor as far as
We're
constituents.
talking just north of 1623. Is that the area you're talking about?
We're, yes, McKinney Loop, you know, runs from 1623 to 1623.
So
Right
there
on
is,
Cottonwood is your boundary factor.
What now?
Cottonwood is your boundary factor between the two of them, along 1623.
An easy way to do this is for you to meet with her.
Sure.
Show her on the map what we're talking about, and maybe we bring it back to the court for you all to consider.
We're not talking about people, just talking.
I guess my question is, instead of impacting Crystal's workload, would this be better for Tommy and you meet with the contractor that did the census once?
I don't know, because,
Let me tell you how many effective voters are in that section.
she had to, after he did his thing, she still had to go study with the one person. So she knows. I really feel like it's I hate what you said about working on it,
We
yeah.
don't have anything else going on right now. We got it.
And I'm trying to say I'm not in the rush, but I don't know if I'm maintaining the roads right now. He doesn't take them on until 23, is that correct? January 23.
What?
He doesn't take the roads on until January of 23, anyway. So I've got that. I was trying to find out whether I'm gonna have the road still up.
That's true.
Hard to tell you I'm wrong.
Well, at least October 1, right?
Yeah, or October 1, I think we should do it. We would have to. That's all. Sorry.
All right, and the last quick thing, did you have something else?
No, I didn't.
The last quick thing is, again, I'm not trying to be too accusatory, but I've been confronted a couple of times and asked, and I don't have a good answer for why it took Orange County so long for election results to make it to the Secretary of State or to the websites. So at some point, I'm not asking you to do it today because I'm hitting you blind, but at some point, I would appreciate it if you could give the commissioners and me an explanation that we can provide to people that confront us out there and want to know why it took so long.
Especially during voting. All of it, but early voting, we didn't see who voted until, what was it, 10th or something like that?
I don't know what the reasons, I just think I want to be on the same page with everybody on what the reason was, and I don't really know. Okay. So, is there anything else we need to do? Application's probably gonna be ready in a couple of months.
So,
Anything else?
Thank you.
Item 22. Parent radio release to Lamp LLC. If you have your records, you should have the lease and the minutes from the Fair Association that they approved. I want to go forward with this sublease basically. Anybody have any thoughts? Is Kim still here?
Stepped out.
Fair radio lease versus
yes.
not versus, but leasing. I'm gonna ask you to just remember, because you don't have any movie. When the Commissioner Court leased, engaged, renewed the lease to the Federal Radio Association a couple of years back, there's a clause Commissioner Court, consent, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Right. So, and you've reviewed this sublease
Yes, I have.
and legally it's okay.
Legally, it's okay.
All right, well,
So my question to you is, when you review this lease, in item 1, the agreement for the lease, it shows the following real estate as shown in exhibit. I don't have an exhibit.
but, okay, there is one, right? You used to put it in the packets.
Yes, I do have one. I apologize. Yes, I do have, it is marked out where the parking lot goes over. Yes, sir. I apologize.
We just didn't want to kill them in the tree.
Yes, sir.
So and it's approximately the size of it is what?
Half acre.
So it would be in the lower section of the county's property along the river, correct?
Commissioner, I have it on my phone if you'd like to see it. I apologize.
No, I just want to clarify and make sure that that's the only piece of property that we're talking about. I mean,
Yes, sir.
I went down there yesterday and I noticed that they cut the fence up higher in that other section.
That's a different deal, it has nothing to do with this lease. That, we're trading some work out for some other stuff. Build our roads out.
Do you agree that, that half acre piece on that tract of the county's property is the tract that is not burdened by the reversionary clause? It's not part of the, there are 3 tracts that the county acquired, and that was one of the last ones, wasn't the first one.
What was your question?
Well, the tract that has the rodeo arena and other improvements is one tract.
That's track 1.
And this is not in that tract.
It is.
It is in that.
I can show you. It's actually down due north of the arena in that, what I call original track 1.
So it's part of the original tract 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the only other thing that I really don't like about this lease is it does give them the clause, it's an annual contract, so they can get out of it after a year. But typically when we do contracts through the county, there is always an increase every so many years for the amount.
We're not getting any money from this, the Fair and Rodeo is, so that's, if they want more money and they put that in the contract, then they're the ones who lose, not the county.
There's somebody, so that's their.
Is there a clause in there, did you happen to notice? I'm more interested in the county, not the Fair Rodeo Association, but is there something in there when little Johnny and Susie go past the parking lot and come over and start playing on the rodeo arena facilities, and Susie falls and breaks her neck, is the county protected?
But the Fair and Rodeo have to protect the county.
It's in there?
It's in our contract,
There's
yes,
nothing in the middle.
that is theirs,
Are they protected? I'm just curious.
yes.
And there's,
So with that being said, as long as this stays in that location that we discussed, I would make a motion to approve the lease between the Blanket County Fair and Rodeo Association and Blank King LLC.
is there a second?
I'll say.
Commissioner Eager. Discussion. I thought about this and whether I was going to abstain or not. I'm going to go ahead and go along with the majority, whether you all decide, because I can't put my finger on it. I don't like this. There's something that raises the hair on the back of my neck, but I can't tell you what it is. So without a way to articulate it, I'm going to concede.
We voted to allow them to vote on it themselves, they came back in all favor, so.
Yes, I know, but we also have a clause in there that says that we give consent or don't give consent. I guess we're giving consent, but it makes me uncomfortable. With that said, anything else?
Judge, what your concern is it liability or?
I can't tell you. I can't put my finger on it. I'll tell you what it is. I can't tell you. When we made this lease with the Fair Radio Association, we put in there that they could sublease. I was in that, I imagined the youth council, I imagined all the groups that are into various pieces for their events and whatever. I guess I just never imagined this, and I just didn't imagine anything. So.
My recollection is it was what was discussed, we were talking about some of these new building examples given. So we didn't say that's the only type of subleasing.
That's right, it's not prohibited, but we're.
Right.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 20, next again, item 23. We give appointment of Cat Cog for Constable Fisher in his environmental investigation.
So I'll make a motion to authorize Pango to enter into a 5.8 S camera set usage agreement with Catco for the use of investigating environmental crimes.
I'll second.
Commissioner Bueller, seconds, is there discussion? It's a pretty good product.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 24, the racial profile report for Constable Fisher, precinct 1.
I'd like to make a motion to acknowledge the 2021 racial profile report by precinct 1 constable office.
Is there a second? Commissioner Member Beach. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 25, specs for the purchase of a handheld radio, sometime referred to by Commissioner,
Not by Commissioner.
by Constable, speaking as a walkie-talkie.
So holding his hand through this process and getting to where we need to get. We'd like to make a motion for the approval of the specs and the purchase of the handheld radio for precinct 4 constable as outlined in the capital equipment portion of 2021-2022 budget, with the excess expense to be paid from the precinct 4 constable's budget.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Greenberg, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 26. Is there proposed budget calendar for your review? I believe, as I try to usually do, that little note under the heading that says, no, these are aspirational, they're not something that should be a gotcha or a problem. They're just aspirational in nature and targets for us to keep that. And so far, I think we've been pretty good.
I move to approve the proposed budget calendar for fiscal 2022-23.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eastman, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to move to acknowledge the continuing education for completion of requirements for Commissioners Weir and Eastman. Is there a second? Commissioner Eastman, second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Need authorization for Commissioner Weir to advertise for bids on the trainer lease project.
Right, on the trainer lease project, I've now got the engineering done and have it in-house. So I'd like to get approval for authorization to advertise for bids for construction of and pay for the trainer lease crossing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Brandon. Discussion.
make sure that we know to change the public notice to construction of and paving
Yes.
instead of just paving.
And not the whole road, really, it's just the crossing.
All right, the way this crossing has, shaken out, I think it's gonna be, I don't know, let's see what the bids are, and I'm afraid it's gonna be more than what Commissioner Leishman was able to accomplish on Hyatt's Crossing. It's gonna cost more, and you only have 100,000 in your project budget. correct?
In this year.
So, I think you should be thinking about, nothing to do with this motion yet, but I think you should be thinking about in the future when the bids come back, whether we carry the project over fiscal years or whether we use some of the balance that's in the road and bridge fund to get this project completed, even though it's larger than the one that was just done recently. It's a jumping cost. Just something to think about. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 29. Similar, lease purchase and request for a well, I thought it was okay, whatever it is,
Okay, I'm looking for approval permission to approve the specs and for the lease purchase of NORAM motor grader 65E for precincts 1 and 4. The reason I'm asking for permission for a lease purchase is because the way it's laid out and the amount of money that the purchase price on it is I would like to enter into a lease purchase program where I have money in this budget and some other money outside of the budget that I would like to do quarterly payments. And this is with precinct 4 in mind too. And take possession of the grader. There's a trade-in involved in it with the old grader. And once we do that, get set up in it, then when I can work my way through into the next budget cycle, working with precinct 4 and to determine how we're either going to continue the lease purchase or to possibly between the two precincts be able to, in our new budget, be able to go ahead and purchase that. So I'm asking permission to do that.
Also, on your lease, you get 75% back to the original price.
Yes, sir.
Return when you purchase it.
So as we're leasing it, 75% of it will be going towards that. We're agreeing on purchase price.
When is the first quarter, if the Commissioner's Court were to approve this today, when is the first quarterly payment due?
It would start when we pick up the piece of equipment, which would be probably April 1.
April 1.
I'm guessing or April 1.
And somebody would pay the $15,000.
That's correct. I talked with Commissioner Granberg on it, because it's a joint thing between the two precincts. So we don't need one each one, we can share it. And so we'll just figure out. I've got enough, like I said, within my budget and outside my budget to make quarterly payments for all the way through this year. And
when you say outside your budget, you're talking about your Kendrick Morgan?
yes, right.
Okay. Did you make the motion or not?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the specs and for the lease purchase of an ORAM motor grader 65E for precincts 1 and 4.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Randall, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Advertise for, this is two projects, right?
This will be two projects, sir.
High Alberta Avenue.
Yes, sir, and on Odie Road, it's not just paving, it will be 350 foot of road with a, cul-de-sac at the end of it. I would like to make a motion to authorize to, advertise these two separate jobs.
So will we advertise separately? Yeah, because otherwise, wouldn't you not be confusing to contractor?
And we, yeah, advertise separately.
On the other hand, I don't want to spend more money either.
No, basically, what I put in your packet is just a notice, okay, for the specs. The specifics of each job is up to the commissioner to discuss with the respective bidder.
Okay. Okay?
Let's see, what it said.
So bidders should contact Commissioner Eager to obtain specifications.
Okay. You moved,
To, authorization to advertise for two jobs.
was there a second?
I'll see.
Commissioner Weir, discussion?
Same, just make sure that the public notice references construction of and paving.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 31, moving to Tennessee Engineering Contract.
I move that we consider authorization for the county judge to sign an amendment to the KC Engineering contract regarding Middle Creek crossing project.
And this, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Wilson, this was reviewed and approved by the county attorney's office.
Yes.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Replat, Commissioner Granberg.
This is a typical Rock and J replat where they're combining lots 1650 and 1651.
First one.
32.
You jumped ahead one.
1015 and 1016, you know, this 1051R. And I move that we approve the replat of this Rock and J subdivision.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
Commissioner Eager, discussion.
He said 1051R, it should be 1015R.
Yes, sir.
That was you, right?
Yes.
Anything else? So you said this was a typical replat.
Well, they're doing small lots, two small ones together to make it bigger.
What would be a not typical replat?
Well, they don't really want to get any smaller. Basically, they're having to put two small ones together to get a big one.
Well, I think the Commissioner's Court is going to be faced with one too long with a question about
Well, that episode where they want to
separating.
separate.
Will that be considered a not typical replat?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. And that takes us to item 33 with replat.
I move we consider approval of replat lot 1650, 1651, the Rock and J subdivision, new lot to be known as 1650 Park.
Is there a second?
I'll say that. Is it two?
Commissioner Weir seconds it too. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 34, permit expires today.
I'd like to make a motion to, extend the permit to April 26th, well, although we've got some rain in the south, it's going to dry out real fast. I'll say that.
Commissioner Weir seconds. It's interesting because you got an answer.
Got 1.6.
You got next to nothing.
I got 0.45.
Oh, I got next to that.
About living out.
Discussion.
So discussion on that, I did have a call this morning referencing would like to do a control burn on Coastal Field. burn order that is gonna be in place, is there gonna be an exemption for agricultural burning?
Well, that depends, if you mean, you said control burn, is that like a statutorily, a prescribed control burn, or anything like that?
So, and I know, huh?
Agricultural burn.
It's an agricultural burn, but I do, if I remember right, there's some steps that they have to take prior to doing agricultural burn.
Let me, do y'all have to be present during one of those?
What's that?
Do you have to be present during one of those burns?
No, but the judges regular statutory requirements that the party be a prescribed burn measure with a plan to the state.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna ask of you. Well, let's start here. The statutes say, planting or harvesting agricultural crops can be burned during a burn ban. By statute, you don't have to make an exception. If if that permit is related to public health and safety. I honestly don't see how burning a pear or a brush pile is related to public health and safety, but
And these are coastal fields.
I don't see that. So I don't think it qualifies there. And the other exception in the statute is that they're done by a burn manager, a prescribed burn manager that's certified under state certification. However, I'm just gonna run down a list. In your motion and second, are you willing to do outdoor welding?
Yes, as long as
Does
it's
it
follow
need
the
to
rules
be,
and regulations.
does it need to be a spot?
Question for that. When you say, does it include outdoor welding, does that mean you're banning all outdoor welding?
It would be if I'm asking if it's not gonna be, if it's gonna be authorized.
It'll be authorized to do. It's one fence building and outdoor welding, as long as they have the watering spotter in place.
The perimeters defined by the welding, for the welding arc. The minimum 100 gallons of water is available.
Correct.
Minimum of wind speeds are not greater than 15 miles per hour.
Correct. You can say that's.
Humidity index of 20%, well, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you don't want 15 miles an hour, we're gonna get less, I'm just asking.
50.
I took this from standards from other.
Standard, let's go with standard.
Humidity index is 20% or higher.
Correct.
They can weld in an enclosed area like a barn.
Correct.
And each site will have a cellular telephone available for.
Correct.
So the next question is, agricultural crops like prickly pear or coastal fields, do you want to be able to burn them with certain conditions?
Can you make a motion, I mean?
Well, we can look at the conditions and I'll see. Prior to beginning the burn, the sheriff's office is notified.
Correct.
The requester must identify the area to be burned by describing the pasture or range by address and location, county road, state highway, and the person requesting the burn.
Correct.
Water sprayer apparatus or water containers and other firefighting tools must be available on site.
Correct.
Fire guards are to be used whenever possible, whether man-made or natural.
Correct.
Wind speed must not exceed 15 miles per hour.
Correct.
Humidity index has got to be 20% or higher.
Correct.
A cellular telephone or other phone communication must be available, and do you want to make an exemption for people who are members of the prescribed burn, of the Edwards Plateau Prescribed Burn Association?
Correct.
So my question is to Matt, do you agree with that for agricultural burns?
Yes, right now. So it's a tough line. Two things. One is, burn conditions are continuing to get worse. On the second hand, if they follow all the steps for a coastal field burn and can do it accurately, it will probably help us in the future. So that if that large area is burned correctly and maintained, it's another spot catches fire. We know that it won't burn.
But, so, I got a guy this afternoon, who went out there to burn his coastal field. Are you fine with that?
Even whether, yeah, I heard you say it, although,
With those conditions met?
it just seems like not a good time regardless of what you do. There are certain things, sometimes that it's just not good to do, no matter what you do to prevent it.
That's true. Yeah, and this is a good question, I don't know the answer to. I don't know how it affects the governor's proclamation either, if we allow coastal burn. I don't know, if we go out to that, because we allowed it for trucks damaged or someone's hurt, is that still covered?
I'm not a rancher, but what's the window for burning coastal field? This time through
There's two
April?
seasons. There's a hot burn and a cold burn, depending on whether burn kind of come back to.
Let's stay there and let's skip this one for a minute and ask you about the others. Commercial barbecue establishments operating from a fixed location, is that okay?
Sure.
Personal barbecue fueled by propane.
Yes.
Precinct commissioner can exempt a weekend benefit barbecue after a request for permission by an organization that shows evidence that all necessary safety measures are in place, right? And burning trash in a barrel with the use of a metal screen or trash receptacle with wind speeds below 10 miles an hour and adequate water source. Yes or no?
Yes. That's the part. Man, go there.
So that takes us back to the coastal field.
Offer trash services, are they allowed trash services to be offered inside the county, multiple services? This is, I believe, in the Texas Agro Burn Rules and Regulations says that the county authorizes trash services to be provided, and people cannot burn trash inside of the building. But it's not a county. If you allow trash services to be provided to county residents, so there's some counties that there's no trash services that can ever make it out to some rural areas, so people are allowed to burn inside their barrels. So, that's the only.
I think we have trash service most every week.
So that's what you're
So
saying?
when we go out to a fire and burn inside the barrel, for the next time the barrels will help them come out.
Because they have trash.
Because they have trash service to go.
They take that one out.
Take it out.
Coastal fields.
As long as they go by the rules and regulations. Adequate water, people on site.
So I had a gentleman earlier ask me, well, they can just make a donation to the fire department, and the fire department will go out there and help them.
So, Lake County ESD2, since we're a commission department, we have a policy that allows us to go out and charge people to do burns. Both the EMPs and boards, their policy, insurance policy does not allow standbys. So they won't be able to get that fire. It's,
Which I'm assuming it is, I mean.
I would cross.
So I talked to them.
All right, anything else? I think I have it more or less figured out. All in favor of the motion for burn ban with the stated conditions, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And that goes to April 26th. rear